It's sort of, jargon becomes a tribal language. You know, a plum to a greengrocer means a fruit, but to a builder, plum comes from the Latin for a level bit of plumbing. You know, and that got its name from the lead weight. You know, which the Romans called plum, which meant that it was level. You know, that's what I'm trying to talk about. Sorry. So Western memes are starting to seem alien to those in management positions, which have to balance different conceptions of terms. This is colonisation. Colonisation has a common thread in that it is chiefly about asserting a thought process on an enemy in order to control their actions and reactions to the growth of power or intellectual concepts. You know, or it's an attempt to. You know, colonisation is an attempt to do that. But of course, we always have free will to disagree. This is, of course, to confuse the enemy and leave them at a loss as to what to do. Following this is the physical, material and biological control of enemy territory resources, and eventually the impregnation of their genes and memes in the terms of their women and intellectual culture. In terms of limited or partial colonisation, some inroads and synthesis of concepts are made. Some of these might help the host culture, as in the case of Japan post-World War II, where they adopted many Western methods, but they kept their core Japanese identity. Or in absolute colonisation, the process continues until its genetic biological information is destroyed or completely dominated by the superior strength of the attacking group, and its memes destroy the other meme. Co-ops what is left of its words and culture and arts in terms of archaeology. Any evidence of its achievements or lack of, and thus the winning DNA and memes of the victorious group uses all sorry, I've lost the track. The winning DNA and memes of the victorious group uses all the remnants of the defeated in a way to enhance its own progress. The defeated meme has no life or real growth other than in terms of what regard it has to the victorious meme and the progress of the DNA of the victorious group. You know, in other words, victors write the history. You know, pure, perfect understanding, even in terms of literature and artifacts, is thus not possible because we are seeing these objects through the prism of our own interests, our own context, time, and what potential use for continuing our meme and DNA. Would it make our culture more apt to survive? For the first time, the most apt civilization, the most adaptive civilization, is being co-opted through its own altruism, you know, its sense of wanting to do good, and sense of honour to sacrifice itself on the altar of guilt and shame, and the irrational logic is that because the West is not perfect, it must kill itself off. You know, kill its cultural meme off. This is the insane idea of a perfect end state, the fall of man and redemption all rolled into one. It is the meme in Middle Eastern culture that thinks if man can just destroy man and all life, then the deity or divine power or other or afterlife will be perfect. You know, this is the idea of knowingly doing evil, knowingly making a mistake, and then saying, when they see we were actually right about the chosen ones and then how we will laugh. I'm of course paraphrasing Rabbi Taz, who said, you know, when the world is destroyed, how then we will laugh, you know, because we laugh in times of sadness. But this irrational thought process is evident in all Middle Eastern cults, as well as those that have been partially clothed in Western philosophy, such as extreme forms of lesbian feminism, Marxism and its offshoots, modern postmodern nihilism, violent forms of anarcho-ultra-conservative capitalism, neo-feudalist capitalism in the form of both neoclassical ultra-conservatism and Marxist global corporatism, and anti-human forms of environmentalist extinctionism, Judeo-Christianity and its end-time reforms, and of course some brands of Freemasonry and Zionist Freemasonry, which are two separate ideologies, you know, and ethnic minority interest groups, which use multiculturalism and spin of political correctness to hide their primitivism and moral relativism, as well as their selfish lust for power grabs, their constant criticism without any feeling of duty to the host out of dignity or politeness to adapt. They are out for one thing: power via corruption. It will eventually set a situation where democracy is reduced in meaning. It may just as the issue of human rights is seen in a negative way in certain parts of the British press. As though human rights were a confidence trick to gain money, where in reality an institutional and systematic approach to assert human rights in Western civilization meant progress for the individual, families and national society community by the protection of rights, liberty and equality, like economic, natural rights. You know, so it's got liberty and equality under the rule of law by consent of the people in a democratic process that safeguards human rights in the constitutions of Western democracy, i.e. the high law, you know. When I mentioned those other groups previously in terms of totalitarianism, you know, it's been pointed out to me, religions have certain, you know, churches or lodges or anything else, or synagogues or mosques, you know, that are religious or business associations, you know. Not all of them are involved in criminal conspiracies, you know. Some of them are, you know. What I'm trying to say is that, you know, not everything is a conspiracy, but conspiracies do sometimes happen. You know, that's what I'm trying to say. As I've shown in my other videos, there's plenty of coincidences, you know, as well as acts of conspiracy. You only need two people to think up of something negative for it to be a conspiracy. That you see bank robberies happen all the time.